Chapter 2: Hardship and Resilience. Surviving Childhood Adversity, A Family in Crisis. The story of Annie Oakley, born Phoebe Ann Mosey, cannot be told without an honest look at the adversity she faced as a child. After the death of both her father and stepfather, Annie's mother, Susan, was left to navigate the treacherous waters of rural poverty with several children and little means of support. In the 1860s, there were no safety nets, no government programs to step in. Survival depended on grit, resourcefulness, and often heartbreaking decisions. To keep the family from starvation, Susan Moses was forced to send her children out to live and work with other families. It was a common, if painful, practice in rural America at the time. For Annie, this meant saying goodbye to the little security she had left and stepping into a world that would test her in ways few children could imagine. The Dark County Infirmary, a place of refuge and hard lessons. At the tender age of 8 or 9, Annie was sent to the Dark County Infirmary, a county-run poorhouse that provided shelter for orphans and destitute families. Here, Annie lived with the Eddington family who managed the institution. In exchange for helping with chores and caring for the Eddington children, Annie was given a place to stay, food to eat, and crucially, the opportunity to attend school. Learning amid hardship. While her living conditions were modest, Annie cherished the chance to learn. She quickly picked up reading, writing, and arithmetic. Most importantly, she learned to sew, a skill that would later prove invaluable when she began designing and making her own costumes for the stage. The Eddingtons, by most accounts, treated Annie with kindness and respect, giving her a brief respite from the instability of her earlier years. But the security of the infirmary was temporary. As with many children of the poor, Annie's fate was ultimately subject to the needs and whims of adults. After some time, she was bound out to another family, a practice similar to indentured servitude, where children worked in exchange for their keep. The Wolves. Enduring abuse and bondage, Annie's next placement was with a family whose name she never revealed. Instead, she called them the Wolves, a chilling testament to the cruelty she endured. Far from a nurturing home, this family subjected her to virtual slavery. Annie was forced to work long hours, doing heavy chores both inside and outside the house. She was poorly clothed, often hungry, and denied the most basic comforts. The depth of the abuse. The Wolves were not content with mere neglect. Annie suffered physical and emotional abuse. She was beaten and threatened, made to sleep in cold, dark barns, and deprived of contact with her family. She wasn't allowed to attend school, and any small mistakes were met with harsh punishment. The sense of isolation and betrayal must have been overwhelming for a child already scarred by loss. Yet, even here, Annie's spirit refused to be broken. In later years, she would recount these experiences not with bitterness, but with a quiet strength. She credited these years of hardship with teaching her the self-reliance, resourcefulness, and inner steel that became her trademarks. Escape and return. The triumph of courage. After nearly 2 years of servitude, Annie made a daring decision. She escaped from the wolves, braving the unknown to find her way back to her family. It was an act of remarkable courage and determination for a girl barely in her teens. She returned to her mother, changed by suffering but unbowed. The reunion was bittersweet. The Moses family was still desperately poor, but Annie was home, surrounded by the warmth of her siblings and the familiarity of rural Ohio. The ordeal she had survived had left its mark. She was quieter, more serious, and fiercely independent. But it also sparked a fire within her, a resolve never again to be powerless in the face of adversity. Forging resilience, lessons from adversity. Many in Annie's position might have been crushed by such hardship, but Annie was different. The crucible of her suffering became the forge in which her legendary resilience was shaped. Key lessons and skills. Self-reliance. Annie learned to depend on herself, from finding food to sewing her own clothes. Empathy. Having experienced cruelty firsthand, she developed a deep compassion for others, especially the vulnerable. Resourcefulness. Every challenge became an opportunity to learn a new skill, a new way to survive. Determination. Perhaps most importantly, Annie emerged with an unshakable will to shape her own destiny. These qualities would one day set her apart, transforming her from a struggling orphan into one of the most celebrated women of her era. The seeds of independence once home, Annie immediately set about helping her family survive. She put her sewing skills to use, making clothes for her siblings and herself. She also took on any odd job she could find, earning a little money here and there. But it was her skill with a gun that would soon change the course of her life. With her father's old rifle in hand, Annie began hunting small game to put food on the table and earn extra income. Her uncanny accuracy quickly became the talk of the community. Local shopkeepers began buying her game to sell in their stores and restaurants. Annie's talents provided for her family in ways few girls or boys could match. Transformation through adversity. Looking back, it's clear that these years of hardship did more than simply test Annie, they transformed her. The girl who had been abused and neglected by the wolves became a young woman of remarkable strength, compassion, and self-assurance. A new beginning. By her mid-teens, Annie had paid off her mother's mortgage and ensured her family's security. She had become the primary breadwinner not through charity or luck but through her own hard work and talent. The adversity she endured had become the foundation of her legend. Legacy of strength. Annie Oakley's childhood is a testament to the power of resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Her story reminds us that even the darkest experiences can shape us for the better, instilling the strength, empathy, and determination needed to overcome whatever life throws our way. As Annie herself once said, "Aim at a high mark, and you'll hit it." No, not the first time, nor the second, and maybe not the third. But keep on aiming and keep on shooting, for only practice will make you perfect. These words, earned through hardship, speak to the very core of Annie Oakley's spirit. Conclusion. The crucible of character, the adversity of Annie Oakley's childhood could have been her undoing. Instead, it became her making. The abuse she endured, the hunger, the loneliness, each was a trial by fire, forging in her a character that would astonish the world. In the next chapter, we'll see how Annie's hard-won skills and resilience propelled her onto a national stage, transforming her from a local legend into a household name.